Hello everyone, I'm Qiutong. I'm a third-year student in the LMLA program at University of Michigan. This video will introduce you to one of the most awesome works from Metro Design Studio advised by Professor Lisa. Before we jump into the video, I'd like to talk more about the background of this project. So this project integrates a variety of project skills, focusing on broad issue of developing metropolitan area of Detroit. We started from an in-depth research to better understand the current situation of Detroit at the regional scale, and then we moved down to a site-specific design. The theme of the design is foresight. It analyzed the current site situations, including qualitative data, quantitative data, geospatial data, and used these data as evidence to support design decisions. It involves in deep research, innovative design, and creative thinking. So my project is called Feed Detroit, and I'll be starting by introducing some qualitative data for the current situation and my analysis of existing condition by GIS analysis, and then it comes to the solution I proposed. First of all, the qualitative data of existing issues. Health conditions and disease like obesity, diabetes, heart disease can lead to health complication and untimely death. The impact of poor diet on our health is widely known and yet still underestimated. 4 of the top 10 leading causes of death in the United States can be linked to poor diet: heart disease, cancer, stroke, and diabetes. Almost half of households in the city are food insecure. That is to say, they don't have physical or financial access to safe, sufficient, and nutritious food to sustain them every day. 40% of all households use federal supplemental nutrition assistance program, yet almost 20% of those eligible households are not enrolled in the program currently. Detroit has 74 full-line grocery stores, but almost 30,000 residents don't have access to them. There are some Detroiters, they just don't live near places that provide them healthy food, City Council officials said. As you can see from the left side table, the proportion of imported fresh fruits, vegetables in the United States has kept growing since 1974. The United States remains a net agriculture trade through exporting grains, soybeans, and wheat for most of the trade surplus. In terms of the income, Detroit has half the median income, 3 times the poverty rate of the nation, which leads to a severe poverty issue. Such a low average income makes it even harder to access fresh fruits and vegetables that are heavily reliant on importing. One of the most commonly known urban issues, but also opportunities for Detroit, is the vacant space and abandoned buildings due to urban decay. The dark green hatches showed us the area which has over 50% vacant lots. And then it comes to our big question: how can we help Detroit people to feed themselves with affordable fresh food by fully utilizing the vacant space and abandoned buildings within Detroit area? With the big question bearing in mind, I started geospatial data analysis and data visualization. Starting from the top left, who grew American foods? The map shows where U.S. imports food and exports food. The white arrows show us where we export grains and wheat, and orange arrows show us where we import food from. Canada and Mexico remain the United States' largest suppliers of fresh foods, while East Asia, led by China, Japan, and South Korea, was the largest market, accounting for about 42% of U.S. agricultural exports. The bar charts showed the fresh foods and vegetables are the main source of imports, and the wheat and grains are export products. The trend of importing fresh food has kept growing, as the line chart shows. Move down to why is Detroit vulnerable. The lighter bars represent income of Detroit, and darker bars represent income of the U.S. We can see that Detroit's income is almost half of the average of the nation income. I started to identify vulnerable group geographically by GIS data analysis. I combined 3 layers of data, including obesity, heart disease, and diabetes rates. As we introduced before, those 3 diseases are highly related to diet. From the hashed map, you can see the area where residents are vulnerable when it comes to fresh food insecurity. Using the vulnerable group as the base map, I added geospatial information on food accessibility and toxic soils in Detroit by GIS data analysis. The orange plus signs represent the chain supermarket, such as Costco, Walmart, or Target, etc. The green plus signs represent the local urban farms. The 3 layers of boundary respectively represent the service area for 5-minute, 10-minute, and 15-minute driving distance from the center to the edge of the boundary. The yellow cross sign represents the toxic site in Detroit, and the white circles represent the toxic site buffer zone, where the soil is contaminated and not suitable for growing food. The white hatches are the vulnerable group who have a high rate of health-related disease. From the map, we can see there are many vulnerable areas not covered by the services area of supermarkets, urban farms. In other words, many residents who have diet-related disease do not have enough access to fresh food providers. The information analysis further raised the question, how can we utilize the non-toxic soil on site to grow fresh and healthy food for local people? And then it comes to my proposal. As you can see from this map, I proposed the Big V as my strategic solution. I identified the 6 main green patches where it has considerable portion of vacant space ranging from 45% to 70%. At the same time, the soil is not toxic. These patches can potentially grow fresh food for the local residents. These patches form into a big V-shaped spine as the root of this idea. The food grown locally from these patches can have 3 types of use: commercial use, residential use, and educational use. The green plus signs are the chain supermarkets. The food grown from the green patches can supply these markets. The orange pentagons are the major local community centers. Food from those patches can also support the local communities. The blue dots are the K-12 students. Since K-12 students need the food provided by the local government, these locally grown fresh food can also support the students and feed them with fresher and healthier food. Here it comes to the proposed transportation solution. The thick dot lines are the subway routes and the thinner lines are the bus routes. You can see how the public transportation system connect the local community and supermarket together efficiently. This map shows how the proposed green patches are gonna support the chain supermarkets. The way I assigned the supermarket to each patch is based on the traffic time of the current traffic situation in Detroit. This map shows the main residential area and community centers. The white dot hatches are the areas where most of the local residents live in, and orange pentagons are the major community centers. You can see how food spines closely link to the community centers and support local residents. And this map shows how the patches can support the local K-12 schools and provide health lunch to those students. The way I assigned schools to each patch is based on the traffic time as well. As I mentioned above, I categorized the vacant space and abandoned building into 3 types of use: commercial, residential, and educational. I color-coded them into green, orange, and blue and proposed 9 topologies. The first row shows us how to utilize vacant space commercially. First one of the first row is the idea of experience farm. Families can bring their children here to spend their weekends, to live in cabin and fish in pond. The second one is dine-in and out market. So people can come here and eat fresh and cook fresh. Basically, when people come here, they can use the food that grew locally in the adjacent agriculture area to cook the food in those markets. And third one is live house. Local music is one of differentiator in the Detroit culture. So we want to utilize those culture to attract more people come here and cook with the local food. The second row shows residential use. The first idea I proposed here is CSA, Community Shared Agriculture. For those large sites, we can utilize the CSA method here. The local community can have CSA area on those large sites where people can grow fresh food in their local area. The second idea is community garden. This is designed for those smaller sites where people do not have too many space to utilize for agriculture use. I wanted the people who live in those communities can have shared community garden so they can eat fresh food from the local site. The third idea is recreational farm. We can also have those farms to bring people together and have some farming activities. The slogan here is happy farming, happy life. The third row is for educational use. The first idea I proposed here is K-12 food supply. We can grow food locally with those fresh veggies and fruits for the local students. The second idea I proposed here is a collaboration lab. This is mainly designed for university students. As you can see, those shelves represent the shelf in the laboratory, where they can do plant experiments by utilizing the local plants we grow adjacently. And the third idea is outdoor teaching space, where teachers can bring their students to the outdoor space and teach them how to recognize those plants that we grow locally. The slogan here is Teach Outdoor and Breathe Outdoor. I have also selected 2 specific sites on the map for my site design, as it has been marked on the map, Note 1 and Note 2, for commercial use and residential use. I specifically picked those 2 sites because I personally visited those 2 sites and found they don't have too many abandoned buildings on the site. In that case, we don't have to demolish too many buildings. For both sides, I tried to insert vertical agriculture because I wanted my design to be more resistant to climate change and potential flooding issues. For the residential site design, as you can see from the top left of this image, I used the shelves to grow fields to raise them up from the ground level. I also created a vertical layered of community shared farm for people to grow foods for themselves. The roof areas of buildings have also been fully utilized to grow plants. This detailed image shows how I take full use of vacant land and transfer those unused land to community shared farm, where residents can plant collaboratively and create a space for people to interact with each other on this vertically layered structure. For the commercial use, the right side triangle area will be a playground, serves as an eye catcher to attract people to come over. I created commercial use buildings in the central location, and the left side area are the cabins for families to spend their weekends and holidays. The right side will be some local store to sell the agricultural products. The largest portion of the site will be left to agriculture maize. This detailed image shows the triangle playground, where people can have activities and interact with each other. Lastly is the collage shows the vision of my Feed Detroit project. I wish Detroiters can farm happily and eat healthy in the near future. Thank you so much for watching this video.